So, can I start with a fun story? Johnny likes this story too.
Okay.
Once about 1996, I guess, I don't know, I was walking down the street and there was just an egg roll sitting on the sidewalk and it wasn't near any dog poop and it didn't have ants on it or anything. So I picked it up and sniffed it and it smelled fine, so I ate it. It was just an egg roll sitting on the sidewalk. My full name is James Luke Hare Brecken. I am 53 years old. I was born on November 10th, 1963, which was 12 days before President Kennedy was assassinated. And I'm very proud to have been born at the very tail end of the Kennedy years. I love America very much. Everything I collect is really a tribute to America. This lamp, the painting, these records and stuff. I'm really amazed that America is a country that saw fit that people needed shoes and jeans and cars and bridges, and like we just set out and hey, we're going to build some bridges and sew some jeans and build some cars. And I love that we're a nation of making, building people. But just the fact that like the things that we build, like cars and buildings, have become so ugly and passionless. We live in a time right now that everyone just only cares about practicality and money and resale value, but beauty is just, beauty is a dying thing. The only thing I really don't like is stuff that's dead and boring.
How do you mean?
Well, stuff that's lifeless. I'm less concerned about, like, I don't like this table because it's from the 1950s. I like the 1950s because they made tables like this,
So it could be something you don't care if it just looks plain, but it is authentic. You care more if it looks good.
Well, I like authentic. That's a tough one to say because plain is not in itself a sin. Plain is sometimes the more beautiful. But it's highly personal. It's hard to answer that question because I could give you examples of why this is beautiful or why it's ugly, and it's strictly subjective anyway. You might not agree with why I think something's ugly or beautiful. That's why art is amazing. I just made it. My art is not high on meaning. I don't have like real deep messages in my art. This is really about. It's just designed to look beautiful. But in examining my own art, I realized that this is about houses. I like buildings. I'm really into architecture. And it really is kind of a portrait of the American house. So even though I wasn't striving for meaning kind of came through anyway. Maybe it's like so deep in my subconscious that I don't think about it, but it's there. This is all just odd stuff that I find on the sidewalk. But I have big boxes full of it. In fact, there's some wall hanging pieces in the front. I come from a family of like all my grandmother, my mother, all my aunts and uncles have like cool antique laden houses. So I would just go along when my mom and grandma would go to garage sales and Salvation Armies. And then by the time I was able to go on my own, I went on my own. So I've been collecting consciously since about age 14. Sometimes to my mother's consternation because she didn't like that I would spend my money on stuff, on furniture and stuff. But, I figure you live and then at the end of the story you die. So the time that you spend between, you've got to make yourself happy.
Right.
Because why not?
So collecting makes you happy.
Yeah, it does. It actually kind of chose me. I didn't really choose collecting.
Right. You were kind of raised into it, weren't you?
Yeah. it's like the idea of what is valuable is different through the generations. But see, I'm interested in collecting stuff that has like been forgotten. I've become really good at just storing a lot of stuff. Like I have a couple bedrooms here that no one's ever been in because they are packed as far as I can possibly pack them with boxes. Because I collect all sorts of stuff.
I've been doing that, yeah.
Well, there's got to be a couple hundred in there. Let's see. Stalling could sour your fantasy. Start that travel adventure with gusto. I would say that suits me too, because I need to start my travel adventure. Actually, next month will be 14 years, which I can't believe. 13 years. Because it was not, and there was no intention. I just had to move out of my old apartment. But I'm ready to move on. I'm feeling very, as you can see, it's a kind of a crowded place, not because the apartment is small, but that I have so much stuff. So I'm looking forward to, I'm going to move to Milwaukee, and I don't really want to leave Chicago, but the rents in Chicago are becoming prohibitive. And rents in Milwaukee are pretty cheap. And Milwaukee's close enough. So I don't really want to leave. Actually, I'm a little heartbroken about the idea of leaving. I've grown hugely as a person in Chicago. Because I was such a sweet little nice boy. And I'm not that so much anymore.
Because of Chicago.
Well, yeah, dude, I grew up not just in Grand Rapids, but my folks moved out to the country. So, and I'm very lucky to have, spent my younger years out in the country. I met some very good people, and I developed an appreciation for such people. But I needed to grow personally.
Yeah.
And Chicago has been my time. I've created a nice life for myself here. And I really do love Chicago. But I imagine I could love 100 other places too.